When everyone got off the special train, a neat and heavy sound of footsteps suddenly came from the front. Everyone looked in the direction of the sound and saw a group of people wrapped in soldiers wearing gray combat uniforms and holding black rifles appeared in front of the platform. Their uniforms were very peculiar, pure gray. Zhang Yi frowned when he saw their uniforms for the first time, because the feeling of these combat uniforms was somewhat similar to the combat uniforms of the investigation team, including Bian Junwoo. But compared to them, the combat uniforms of Bian Junwoo and others were not so standardized, and should be custom-made. These soldiers wore gray helmets and gray leather gloves on their hands without even a trace of skin exposed. But they stood there as majestic as iron towers, motionless, as if growing on the ground. They did nothing, just stood there, and the momentum they showed shocked the mutant forces in the 12 cities in front of them. Blizzard City Defense Force, Yanyun, the elite among the elite in the Jiangnan region, special forces among special forces. The Yanyun troops appeared in front of everyone for the first time. They are all pure soldiers. After the end of the world, it is not an exaggeration to call them pure killing machines. Only 20 members of the Yanyun team shocked the 12 cities in the Jiangnan region, and thousands of strong men were trembling. Even though they also came out of blood and fire, when they encountered this kind of killing machine, the gap between them was still obvious. In the crowd, a beautiful woman with a towering bun and flaming red lips looked at the Yanyun team members, licked her lips, and her eyes were full of fiery color. So majestic, I really want to taste them. In another direction, an old soldier with a black violin case on his back and a solemn look on his face narrowed his eyes, and there seemed to be a hint of competition in his eyes. Instead, some people were calculating the strength of Yanyun in their hearts, silently measuring the strength of the Jiangnan region. At this time, a tall figure slowly walked out from behind the Yanyun team members. A pair of black long leather boots stepped heavily on the floor, and the noise caused made Zhang Yi frown. The sound seemed to be a kind of shock, which seemed quite rude. Everyone saw the owner of the pair of black long leather boots. He was a tall and thin, middle-aged man wearing a green military uniform, and the golden star on his shoulder was particularly conspicuous. A wide green robe was worn outside the military uniform, and half of his face was hidden in the collar. All that can be seen is a high nose bridge and a pair of sharp eyes, like an eagle. But when these eyes swept across everyone present, they actually made everyone feel as if a knife had cut through their body and their backs went cold. So strong. Zhang Yi immediately had such a feeling in his heart. Just a glance made him feel the taste of danger. This kind of thing is rarely seen by him now. Only Bian Junwoo, who used silence, and Yuan Kongye, who had just been promoted to Ypsilon, gave him such a feeling. In Zhang Yi's mind, the words that Bian Junwoo had said to him emerged. There are crouching tigers and hidden dragons in the Jiangnan region, and there are 6 investigation team leaders like him. And the person in front of him is the commander of the Yanyun troops, and his strength is probably not weaker than Bian Junwoo, even stronger than Bian Junwoo. After all, when Zhang Yi met Bian Junwoo, he was already terminally ill, not in the most perfect state. The Jiangnan regional headquarters is indeed not to be underestimated. There are so many masters here, I have to keep a low profile. Zhang Yi immediately reminded himself in his heart. He remained calm and quietly retreated behind the crowd. Zhang Yi was like this, not to mention the others. There were even a few people who deliberately released their aura and showed their strength. After being looked at by the general-like man, they broke out in cold sweats, and even their legs became weak and almost fell to the ground. At this time, the man slowly spoke. His voice was gloomy and muffled, as if it came from the barrel of a cannon. Everyone, welcome to Blizzard City. I am Tu Yunli, the director of the operations department of the Jiangnan region, and I am here to receive you on behalf of the Jiangnan region. He said this and slowly raised a finger. Here, I want to tell you about the rules of Blizzard City first. Remember, these are very important to you, because in Blizzard City the rules are absolute. Anyone who violates them will face severe punishment. This is your first time here, and you may have been used to being lax outside, but here, control your personality. Tu Yunli's words were very blunt, without any mercy, and he wanted to set rules for everyone right away. These words really made many people frown and feel unhappy. But Zhang Yi understood that this move was just a show of force to prevent these outsiders from messing around in Blizzard City. After all, they have been the kings and hegemons in their respective spheres of influence for half a year since the end of the world, and this process must be accompanied by various bloody violence. There are even various anti-human actions. Fortunately, these people are not fools. Although they are somewhat dissatisfied with Tu Yunli's statement, no one dares to stand up and be the first bird at this time. Tu Yunli continued, "I will arrange a place for you to rest tonight. The commander will personally convene a meeting tomorrow. Everyone must attend on time." Finally, he emphasized in a very stern tone, "Remember, don't make trouble here. Contain those habits you have in the outside world." After Tu Yunli finished speaking, he turned around and left the subway platform regardless of everyone's reaction. To be honest, he was a little disappointed in his heart, because if someone had stood up to provoke him just now, he could have taken the opportunity to kill him and intimidate everyone. But he didn't expect that these mutants from the 12 cities would be so restrained. It's good this way. If they obey, they can avoid a lot of trouble. After Tu Yunli left, someone came over and smiled and guided everyone to the resting place. The one who led Zhang Yi and the others was a female waiter in black and white uniforms. She came over with a smile and bowed, saying, "Everyone, please follow me. I will be responsible for entertaining you during your stay in Blizzard City. You can ask me if you have any questions. In addition, I will send the rules of Blizzard City to your communication equipment. Please read them carefully. Blizzard City implements military management and has many rules. Please pay attention to avoid violating the rules." Zhang Yi nodded and smiled. "Thank you." They left the subway station under the guidance of the waitress. After coming outside, everyone saw the full picture of Blizzard City. This city is located in the east of Jinling. It is a city within a city with an area of only about 1/5 of the entire Jinling. The entire city is surrounded by a wide and thick wall that is tens of meters high. As for the interior, the city buildings are not much different from other places. It's just that patrolling soldiers can be seen everywhere on the streets. They hold guns and look at these newcomers with vigilance. This made Zhang Yi feel the so-called militarized management of the city. After Zhang Yi and the other forces from the 12 cities arrived here, they were led by the service staff to the areas temporarily reserved for them to live. Everyone's eyes were full of curiosity. Zhang Yi asked the waitress, "Girl, what are the ordinary people doing here? Why can't I see anyone?" The waitress smiled and answered Zhang Yi, but the smile on her face was a little too professional, without any emotion, as if a smiling mask was put on her face. "They are all working." She led the way in front and said slowly, "In Blizzard City, everyone is assigned a job according to their talents. To keep the city running, someone needs to work 24 hours a day. So most ordinary people work more than 14 hours a day. That is to say, except for rest and mealtime. The rest of the time needs to be invested in labor. Of course, this is only for grassroots staff. For those technical rare talents working in special positions, they can enjoy a good standard of living. The more outstanding the ability, the better living conditions they can enjoy. But most of them are just ordinary workers, so they spend most of their time working." Zhang Yi's eyes flashed with a playful light after hearing the introduction of the service staff. "Then what about the elderly and children who are unable to work? What should they do?" Lu Karen interrupted. "They should be given special care, right? After all, the physical conditions of the elderly and children are different from those of young and middle-aged people." The smile on the corner of the waitress's mouth became more intense, but there was a hint of sadness in this smile. "That's not the case. No matter they are old or young, unless their families can make enough contributions to make up for their vacancies, they are not qualified to live in Blizzard City." "What?" Lu Karen was shocked and couldn't help saying, "This is too cruel. This is just a simple rule of survival in the end times." Zhang Yi said to her calmly, "There is no need to make a fuss. Even though the Jiangnan Regional Headquarters has a lot of supplies, they must strictly control the number of residents in the end times. Since they can only take care of the lives of some people, they must leave the quota for more valuable people. This is reasonable." Lou Karen sighed lightly. I understand the reason. But doesn't this place still retain the social state of human civilization? I thought it would be different from Tianhai City, at least they will take good care of the children. Zhou Qier and Liang Yue both had a look of reluctance on their faces. Indeed, at the very least, they believe that children should be cared for. Because children are the future. If children are driven out of Blizzard City because they cannot provide enough labor value, what will happen in the future? The waitress said disapprovingly, "This is not a problem at all. Wouldn't it be better if couples who are able to provide more value had more children? We have a fertility quota in Blizzard City. When necessary, having children is also a task that must be completed in the end times." Zhou Qier opened her mouth, unable to imagine that such laws would be implemented here. If you like my content and want to keep up with future updates, hit that subscribe button. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video.